and we just don't do a ton of read alouds. I watched Jaimie Stewart, and like they go into the woods and read for hours. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be our family. That sounds wonderful. And you guys, it didn't work for us. It didn't work for us. My kids were eating tree bark and climbing up the trees. I'm screaming, we're gonna have a good time reading out loud. Sit down and be quiet and listen and color or do something hands-on so that you can have sensory, you know, activities as well while you're listening to me. And it just, you guys know. So I have just acknowledged that we will read aloud during the day, and it will be for a specific period of time, and we may not ever be that amazing read aloud family, and that's okay. Welcome back, guys. My name's Jaimie if you're new. Today we're going to take a walk down memory lane, and I'm going to share with you guys some of the expectations that I had when I first started homeschooling versus now. Here we are 3-4 years later, and the reality of what it looks like as a homeschooling mom. So looking back to before we started homeschooling, when we decided that we were going to homeschool our kids, it was kind of an overwhelming feeling because we were not homeschooled. My husband and I both grew up in public schools, and we didn't come from families that homeschooled. So we didn't really have an idea of what it was gonna look like, or very much experience or people to glean wisdom from when we first started homeschooling. So kind of the idea that I had of what homeschooling would look like was public schools at home. That's kind of what I thought. My kids would all have desks to sit at. They would all sit down and do their work. I would be in the front of the classroom with a whiteboard, and that's what homeschooling would look like. And for a lot of people, that is what homeschooling looks like, and that's totally fine. For us, especially having a lot of young children, it was a hot mess. I remember when Fiona first started homeschooling, I had Fiona, who was 4 at the time. I don't know. I don't even know. I think I had like a preschool curriculum from Horizons at that time, but I had Fiona, who was 4 or 5. So I had Ezra, who was 3, and then I had Jude, who was 2. So I had kids probably like between 1.5 to 4 or 5 or something. I don't know. They were all really close together in age, and there was a chance I probably was pregnant too. It was crazy. I remember wearing Jude on the ergo, like with the ergo, and then trying to give Ezra Play-Doh, and then trying to sit down with Fiona and practice ABCs. And I just had this idea that everyone was gonna sit still and just do what they needed to do while I taught. And my days were full of disappointment, you guys. I tried so hard with our homeschool, and it didn't work. It did not work, you guys. I just praise the Lord that I think sometimes those early years are a little foggy for us moms, because I don't even only the Lord knows how we got through that. And poor Fiona. Poor Fiona was like, okay, here, we're gonna learn this. You're gonna sit here, you're gonna learn this, you're gonna write it down, and it's gonna be great, okay? And I'm gonna sit at the board and teach you. Father in heaven. Now that Fiona is 8, I have an 8-year-old, an almost 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. We are way more relaxed. Let me just tell you, the reality of what little kids need to learn, the hands-on, the movement, the exercise, all of that kind of stuff, I am very much more aware of now. And my expectations of what they should be learning, the time they should be learning it, much more different. Fun fact for you guys, I remember when Jude started singing his ABCs, and I had never taught them to him. Have you guys ever been there? Moms of many, where you spend so much time with your firstborn and your secondborn learning all these things, and you kind of pat yourself on the back that they learned how to do it because you know that they learned it from you and from the consistency and the dedication and passion that you have. And then comes along like your 3rd or your 4th or your 5th, and you realize, I didn't ever teach them that. They must have heard it from somewhere. They must have learned it because I was teaching the other kids and they just soaked it up. They must have caught it on Daniel Tiger when I was having them watch Daniel Tiger and trying to teach my other kids. That is the reality of homeschool for us now. It's just so funny to see that we can spend a lot of time really pouring in and hammering down things, and at the end of the day, a lot of that is important because we are spending that time pouring into our children, but some of it we just need to chill out and pump the brakes on because our kids are going to learn it, and it doesn't need to be as structured and as stressful as sometimes we make it. An expectation that I have had is that we would be a read aloud family. We would just read aloud all day long. My kids would just really enjoy listening to me read to them. I mean, I would enjoy me reading to someone. Who knew that my kids really didn't want to listen to my voice all day long? Not saying that reading aloud is not important, and it's not something that we try to do in my family, because I do believe of the importance of reading aloud to your children. Absolutely 100%. But I also believe that every family is different, children are different, moms are different, and we just don't do a ton of read alouds. I watched Jaimie Stewart, and like, they go into the woods and read for hours. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna do that. That's gonna be our family. That sounds wonderful. And you guys, it didn't work for us. It didn't work for us. My kids were eating tree bark and climbing up the trees. I'm screaming, we're gonna have a good time reading out loud. Sit down and be quiet and listen and color, or do something hands-on so that you can have sensory, activities as well while you're listening to me. And it just, you guys know. So I have just acknowledged that we will read aloud during the day, and it will be for a specific period of time, and we may not ever be that amazing read aloud family, and that's okay. After I started homeschooling for a while, I became really encouraged and inspired by these moms that would create their own curriculum and would just pick and choose what they wanted. They would, use a little bit here, pick a little bit here, grab this book at the library, do this, find this really cool activity to go to. Like a lot of you guys that incorporate unit studies and just your minds. I am amazed by you guys, and I became really inspired by it. And I had this idea that's what I was going to do. I was going to, we were gonna study sharks, and it was gonna be all sharks for everything. We were gonna do morning basket with sharks, and we were gonna watch shark documentaries, and then we would do shark stuff that would be our science, and we would read shark books for language arts, and we would just do all of that, and it would be amazing, and I would think of all the activities to do, and it would be wonderful. And then I realized that I really don't like to do that. It takes a lot of energy that I just feel like I don't have. And it might be because I have 4 kids and I'm pregnant with our 5th and they're all really little. It might just be my personality though too, that your girl is I'm just not that mom, and that's okay. And as much as I wish that I was, I'm not. I am the mom that does the open and go curriculum. I am the mom that I don't have to plan ahead for a ton because it's already written in there for me. I don't find that boring at all. I find it liberating because I then have other spaces of my brain to use for other things, and I don't have to worry about hitting all the bases. That's the kind of mom I am. And so my expectation versus the reality of the curriculum that we use and the style of learning that we do is not what I thought it would be, but it works great for our family. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I expected that we would all be sitting down at our desks, all learning at the same time, and I would just somehow be able to figure it out and teach everybody different ages and do all the things. The reality of what our homeschool looks like now is that sometimes we're on the couch in our jammies while the other kids are playing Legos and I'm grabbing a moment to do English with one kid. Sometimes we are upstairs and we're at our desk and one kid is using ABC Mouse, Another child is playing Barbies because she needs some time to decompress. And I'm doing math. Sometimes we do English in the morning and we do math in the afternoon. Sometimes we only do math and we don't do English because our morning was just a little too crazy and we need the afternoon out to go play. It is very different every day for us, and I never thought it would be like that. I really thought it was going to be this exact same routine every single day. And I would say our routine and our structure of our day does go in a similar fashion every day. I think my kids really thrive on that, but I'm way more flexible than what I ever thought we would be in our homeschool. And I've found that it really works for us. The last expectation that I had for our family is that we would be taking field trips and getting together with people a ton throughout the week. And as much as we have co-op and my kids do lessons and we do visit with friends and they see neighbors almost every day, I have really come to see that I have to really keep our time at home and our time for learning sacred and set aside, or it just won't happen. The day will get away from me. We will be gone. We will see friends every single day. I will be doing chores when the kids haven't done any of their schoolwork. And so I've really found that for us, the reality of it is that we spend a lot of time at home, and it kind of just opens up more opportunity for us to learn. And as much as I love seeing friends, I found that we really do thrive on being in our home and just looking for opportunities to learn at home. And then those times when we have co-op and we do visit with friends, we take advantage of those, and they're that much more special. All right, guys, so I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I tried to make it as lighthearted and probably something that a lot of you guys can relate to. If you want to share down below any of your expectations versus the reality of what homeschooling looks like for you, I would love to chat with you down below, and I know a lot of us and I know all the other moms would love to read and be able to relate to them as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.